Nvidia posted blowout earnings yesterday, but investors' response has been lukewarm at best, signaling that concern of a bubble persists. Let's get more now from Jonathan Corpina, Senior Managing Partner at Meridian Equity Partners. Jonathan, thanks for joining us. A busy day, and the markets, especially the Nasdaq, not responding, are they? Or they are responding in the wrong way.
They are. Busy day. We continue to see a lot of volatility here in our markets, so it's just nothing new to us. I think when we were looking at our earnings calendar, clearly when we kicked it off, we were talking about some of the financials, then you get to some of the tech names. But the next big chapter of that was the Nvidia earnings that came out last night. And like you said on the lead-in, they did beat top and bottom, but I think it's the outlook moving forward. CapEx spends continues to increase. I think that's causing investors to have a little pause at this point. And also, let's go back a little while. Nvidia was that new shiny toy. Everybody was focusing on that, and now the competition is starting to catch up to them. And that's certainly adding a little bit of pressure there. So we're seeing that in the activity in trading in Nvidia today, and now that is then couple that with all the other Nasdaq stocks, and we're seeing a lot of pressure on top of that.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of movement. Any other big names taking a hit today?
Listen, I think it's the mindset of the volatility in the market. When one of the big names moves, everything else kind of couples with it. So I think, there's some collateral damage here that some stocks are getting pulled in there. But go back to the beginning of the week, we had a really significant, a good run up in the market on Tuesday ahead of the State of the Union. On Wednesday, the after effects of the State of the Union. So again, just the volatility is back in our markets here. Month ends on Friday. Looking to end the Dow up for the month, but Nasdaq will be down. We're seeing that pattern most recently in our markets here. It's going to take a little while as we get into this year for some things to play itself out.
And with Nvidia, is the fact that there's still nothing moving into China, is that a factor at all in this? And the comments made about
certainly
it?
Plays in. Yeah, that certainly plays into it, right? The uncertainty of China's participation in top-line revenue for Nvidia is still in question, and I think that's Nvidia is not the only company that is exposed to that. As we continue to talk about tariffs and how that is playing out with the United States, it's going to have an impact either positively or negatively on some of these companies. And it's been quite some time, right, that we've been discussing this, and the meter on that keeps switching back and forth. So that uncertainty is going to add pressure not only in companies like Nvidia, but other tech stocks and others with global exposure.
All right, let's talk about a couple of others. Salesforce, how are they doing? I'm just looking at what they're doing. Their responses today for one of the few going up, going the right way, going up.
I think there's a few items that are there within Salesforce. I think exposure to AI and the competition that AI can certainly put on Salesforce is one that would certainly have a negative impact on that stock. But to offset that, they've added a $50 billion share buyback, which will certainly help the stock. I think at this point they're looking for some stock price that's cheaper at this point to help for stability. The buyback will help employee repurchasing. So when you're looking at that certainly is going to help the price, but you can't always rely on buybacks. You're going to have to look on the fundamentals of the company. You're going to have to look at the forecast and the exposures of competition moving forward. So that might be a short-term bounce in Salesforce today.
And they also raised their quarterly dividend as well to 44 cents. Is that a big jump? I'm not sure what their last one was.
That certainly helps too, right? I mean, when you are in volatile markets, like we've had for some time, investors try to find some safe havens, right? And they can find it in certain sectors. They can also diversify their portfolios by looking for stocks with higher dividends. So I think that's also very attractive when investors are picking and choosing what stocks to have in their portfolio.
All right, and everybody, of course, loves a good drama, and we've got one going with the romance between Paramount and Warner Brothers and Netflix. Paramount reporting, Warner reporting today, slightly different reports, but how is that affecting the whole negotiations that are going on?
Yeah, I think it certainly has some impact, but I think overall, shareholders are just looking for value and they're looking for timing. And as this continues to play out, this drama, it's not over. We're going to continue to see it move in this direction. We've got two companies that are vying for Warner Brothers. I think Paramount clearly has raised their bid here as of last week. This acquisition would be a vital component for Paramount to expand their streaming, expand their creation within that industry. But even that being said, whoever comes to the finish line here, we're still going to have some antitrust headwinds, both domestic and international, to get this deal done. So this is nowhere close to the story being over.
And does Paramount's report, does that make it any more appealing to Warner Brothers, or in the end is it just going to be the vote is the vote?
I think the vote's the vote, right? We can look at earnings reports. We can make our own summation about what happened last quarter and the outlook moving forward. I think the decision of what the future looks like has already been decided, and that's with having this combined entity as one. But how that plays out, how the shareholders vote, and again, there's certainly a lot of headwinds to this deal. So it's going to be interesting to watch this whole thing continue in front of us.
Yeah, lots of meetings going on at the White House today. Jonathan, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Jonathan Corpina, Senior Managing Partner at Meridian Equity Partners.